All right, in the ancient traditions of things that we've done before, welcome to Battletech Oath of Endosteel Season 3, another story. Kane was supposed to be here today, but he has been delayed due to some accidents. So,
would you say Kane isn't able?
Oh, please. It's his name spelled with a K, not a C. That's the worst. He should have made a reference about the Sword of Souls or something, you know? Soul Reaver or some shit like that. Anyway. Today is also our 75th episode according to YouTube's video count. So, you know, congratulations to us for making it here. I know you thought you weren't getting an episode, so this is your bonus episode. We'll then be off for another 2 weeks. So it'll be 3 weeks, I think, before our next real episode. It has been several minutes since the dropship shuttle has docked back to the fleet, and the shocking reveal of the death of the admiral is causing some waves throughout the fleet. I don't know whether we want to follow our dear Khan or whether we want to follow Yusuf, but you know, I got a little bit for each of you, so you let me know who you wants to do a story first.
I'm always happy to share the spotlight first. So if Khan wants to take it over first.
Sure. I mean, one of the things that I think Anko would immediately think about is the words she said around, you know, letting people just roam or sticking with us for this adventure, and then I would back them in whatever they wanted to do after that. Kind of reminiscing on the words that McDougal had said around stick with me, and I was like, that was the right thing to say, that sort of thing. But beyond that, I think Anko would kind of go into mode of like, I need to connect with the people that that LeBeau like directly reported with or worked with to coordinate the logistics of a fleet, because now we have a vacuum of someone who knows how to do all that.
Okay. You meet with an aide that has been assigned to you for this specific purpose. Aboard your personal dropship, the Confederate, an ensign on board. This guy, he's been talked about a bit among the lower deck crew. They think that when they make it back, he'll probably be promoted to lieutenant. His name is Ensign Nathaniel Cornerstone Manassas. He just joined the ship's roster when it defected to the Federated Sons. But he has served the family on the ground as a factor. Do you know what that is?
No, what does that mean?
Okay, so this is like a throwback to old-timey trading companies that didn't have cell phones. Throughout history, you would have a person appointed to act on behalf of a company. It's like a viceroy or suzerain, but for trading. So this is a person who has your like ultimate executive authority to make deals on their behalf when the master of the household isn't around, essentially. So this guy's job was whenever the Confederate wasn't on Valentina, his job was to hold it down, make sure that goods were flowing in and that sort of thing. It's always considered to be a sort of stepping stone job, right? Someone puts you in a factor position to see if you can handle the responsibility of making sure that when the dropship shows back up in the system, right, that it has food, water, oxygen, and there's cargo ready for it. Like when they show up, they're going to be like, hey, we're going to offload cargo. You find us a local buyer and we're going to take on cargo. What do you have ready for us? So we need good deals.
In other words, it's kind of like a mercantile pit crew that you have working for you.
Yeah. So this guy got a promotion. He got bumped up onto the dropship, and he You're not really sure what he's done before now, but he's been assigned by Captain Kentucky to serve you in this endeavor while you have to meet with several individuals. Nathaniel hands you a list. A lot of names have been like automatically rejected by him, with notes as to why, like, this person clearly isn't experienced enough. And then like one of the notes is just like this, like, just from passive conversation with this person, like, not a pirate, just like a hang on, you know, like engineering crew sort of thing.
Okay.
Not qualified to lead a pirate fleet. Of course, he doesn't know what you want to do with the fleet, whether you want to keep doing these piracy things, but he's just going based off of what they've done so far.
Right.
The fleet has an executive officer who is not a captain of any dropship or jump ship.
Okay.
So this is just a person whose job it was to make sure that Admiral LeBeau's will was carried out and to do the really nitty-gritty daily tasks. So all of that paperwork we saw LeBeau doing last episode, Executive Officer William Whelan is the one who assembled all of the reports for him. You also have the captain of the Seeker class jump ship, Kate Meacham, and the jump ship's captain himself, Derek Drake. Because while LeBeau acted as commander of the fleet and personally led the jump ship, it does technically have a captain who has done very little on this journey so far. He's been easy moding that pay. No longer will he easy mode that pay. I'm gonna put all that in Discord for you.
Perfect.
So that you have their
I'm just gonna put them in my notes.
He has arranged for them to come to you when you would like he's making a lot of assumptions on your behalf.
Yeah, and I think in some ways he's what was his name again? Just so I had that as well.
You're talking about the ensign. It's Ensign Nathaniel Cornerstone Manassas. I will put that in.
But he goes by Bull.
I don't. How did you know? I considered making his last name Bull Run, but that's too different.
Oh
my God.
Well, it depends on whether or not you name stuff after the nearby town or after the stream. Sorry. Civil War. Dude, I don't know. I've been to many Civil War battlefields.
I know. I've seen some photos. It's pretty cool, man. It's like a whole world I've never explored. Is the not like LARPing / like reenactment scene.
Hey, man.
I know.
You lose out being on the West Coast.
Well, I mean, I grew up on the East Coast, but that's another story. It's like, you know, I went to those battlefields, but I never did, like, I saw the reenactments from a distance, but I never participated.
Yeah.
Colonial Williamsburg, my friend. Doing
I've
the
been
Colonial Triangle is some crazy shit. It's good. I was there last year.
Really?
I was there when Shang-Chi was in theaters. That's how I know exactly when I was there.
Makes sense.
You can do the Colonial Triangle from your car, which made it very easy to do during COVID. And
interesting.
Yeah, it was sad not getting to go see the reenactors or getting to see anybody manually making toothpaste by smashing limestone rocks like seashells.
Oh my God, it's so funny. It's wow, because I've seen that. And also I went to the not to get too distracted, but went to the Amish town in Pennsylvania.
There are many Amish towns in Pennsylvania.
Lancaster.
I think. Well, it was. I think we went to 2, Lancaster and Intercourse, because Intercourse was just funny, and we were like, "What is Intercourse, Pennsylvania?"
Wow, you have to ask that question.
I guess you
don't know.
I was like, this is when I was a teenager, and we were making all kinds of dirty jokes.
Sure. Listen, we live in a world where people try to make up names for fantasy towns, and there's literally towns that are just this is called Riverside. It's beside a river. This is called River because it's beside a river. This river's name is also River. There's also a town where nobles live. We call it Noble Town.
Yeah, they just, and then I know in some
Thanks,
places it's called the Rio River, right? Which in two languages means river, right?
The
Well,
Rio River, yeah.
There are
Yeah,
5
Rio
river
River.
Avons in
Oh,
Great
right.
Britain,
In Great Britain,
and
yeah.
Avon means river.
River, yeah.
Oh my God, I've been to Newcastle,
World building, man.
On Avon, so yeah, I know. I've been
That's
there.
why when people are like, "Yeah, I have complete world building. I've built an entire world," I'm like, "Nah, bro, your shit fits together too well. It's not stupid as fuck."
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Anko, just kind of bring it back, would be like looking over the list and kind of reading the synopsis and bio that Ensign Nathaniel Cornerstone Manassas.
Just call him Nate if you want to, or Nathaniel.
Yeah.
You don't have to say his full name,
Ensign
Nathaniel
Manassas.
Cornerstone
I don't
Manassas.
know. Yeah. Or no, they just call him Corners. You know, because he's always like kind of running around corners and stuff like that. So just call him Corners.
Jesus, I went to the wire, but okay. Gotta get that WMD.
But yeah, I think there's definitely a like curiosity with one, this XO and
So you want to
really,
meet with William Whelan first?
I think so. I think I want to start with the XO just to kind of pick their brain around kind of what the day-to-day has been, and you know what how they would shift things, like kind of picking their brain around how they would shift things to make for the fact that if they were to move in a different direction, who would step into their place.
Do you go to him, or do you have him come to you?
I have him come to me.
Okay, this is power.
Nice.
He arrives, and you can hear him approaching because he's on like a short range communicator. And you hear him stomping outside the hallway into your office. And the last thing he says is, "All right, I'm at the meeting. All of this is going to have to cease and wait. Take a breath. I need all of you to relax. Nothing is changing in terms of operations." Okay? And then he signs off. And you hear a on your door.
Come in.
Okay. He comes in and he takes his cap off.
Anko is probably like standing behind some kind of ovalish, like half moon crescent desk with a very, very nice wood.
Just remember, everything's zero G. So
that's true.
Yeah.
So it's like bolted to the ground, but it's still like unnecessarily like old school.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I'm thinking like a Frank Lloyd Wright house where all the furniture is unmovable.
Yeah, totally.
Little Alexander Kerensky bobblehead.
Yeah, exactly. It was a gift from Jasper, and like she never let it go.
Yeah, totally was.
It's like now just like this memento that she'll never let go. And she takes wherever she goes, and it's like tacked on with like a kind of like the earthquake putties.
Kerensky ball like 3024 on the bottom of it or something. Yeah, no, man, that's adorable shit. Okay.
Oh man.
So there's I want to be clear about his demeanor when he comes in here.
Sure.
Yeah.
He is a man who is more than slightly annoyed and doing a very good job of not showing it. I mean, it's pretty clear he's got other things to do.
Sure.
He does not salute you, and he does not do like a heel clicking stand at attention.
Sure.
He has come in and he's ready to talk business with you. Like,
right.
He's ready to dump a pile of papers on your desk and start explaining what the fleet's got going on. It's function real quick.
Right. And I think there's like a moment.
So I don't know, because it seems like you're getting ready to do some like dramatic stuff, and I want you to be prepared for his reaction to that. Okay.
Totally. And
we appreciate that, man. It's good framing.
Way to set it. Because like Anko was basically halfway through pouring a cup of tea. I know it's zero G, but like how you pour a cup of tea in zero G, sippy cups, right? So she's like injecting the tea into the sippy cup and like stops mid injection and just puts it down, and says, "I see we're ready to discuss. I'm trying to determine what we need for our fleet to function and to be successful in our mission. And it seems that you were the one helping a lot with the Admiral's day-to-day."
He knows.
So, with that in mind, out of everyone you know on this fleet, who among them would you say has the capacity to lead or coordinate the people?
Ma'am, are you not thinking of taking personal command of these forces?
I am, but at some level, I will need someone who has a strong bond with these people, with the crew, as well as understands the logistics and what it takes to run such a fleet. I only have a high level of what LeBeau and I have discussed in the past.
So he like takes a half turn, he nods his head a few times, takes a breath. It's clear that he wasn't prepared to have this conversation, and he's doing some mental calculations, and he says, "What's more important to you, ma'am? Interpersonal connection with the crew or a understanding of the function of this fleet?"
The crew is the fleet. To me, I believe it is the connections that will get us through the hardest of times. And if my role is to aid in making sure that the people that make this ship or this fleet function has a high morale and understands our vision, then that is what I wish to do. The logistics I can leave to those who are more skilled, as I've heard great things about you.
Okay. He nods a few times, and then he says, "Okay, I can work with that. If you're looking for someone who is at the highest level of ranks and is also accounted to be well appointed with the crew," he's struggling for the words here. "I think that you can look no further than the captain of the Seeker class dropship, Kate Meacham."
She had also, I'm assuming it's a she, her, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. She had also caught my eye. Tell me more. What is said often about this person?
Commander Meacham, what could I say about Commander Meacham? He starts pacing as if he's getting ready to give a speech.
Anko's like prepping the tea again. And like starts sipping it from the sippy cup.
"I understand that within a regular military organization, there are rules against fraternization. Families are broken up so that no disaster or accident might destroy a single group. That is not true of our particular organization and would not work with our special needs and directives. Commander Meacham is well appointed to be considered." "Ma'am, there are several words that I don't think are comfortable in a formal scenario, so it may take me a moment to formulate this. Commander Meacham is..."
You can speak freely if it's tricky.
He gives you a short, pained look. "I would say that if this fleet had a mother, it would be Commander Meacham. She has used her position as captain of the Seeker to ensure that it is a luxury spot for people who need to relax. And it is a very large vessel, and her nominal crew is exceedingly small to run it. It requires consistent attention. Despite that, she has also taken the time to get to know most members of this fleet on a personal level. Several of her children are also members of this fleet, and so are 2 of her ex-husbands.
2 of her multiple ex-husbands. Oh.
And from that, the crew respects Commander Meacham.
I cannot speak to the level of respect people have for Commander Meacham. You will have to address that yourself. I believe you'll find that the members of this fleet love Kate Meacham.
Love is a path to respect. So regardless of where they rest.
He gives you another pained look that makes it very clear he doesn't agree but will not contradict you.
And I think there's like, she finishes what she was saying around it, but looks to the XO Whelan and just says, if Commander Meacham were to coordinate the fleet on a greater capacity, would you aid her? Would you feel comfortable being?
If she selected me to continue on as her executive officer, I would perform my duties as described in our charter.
You were driven by duties then. I respect that.
I'm driven by order, ma'am. There is a severe lack of structure when you sail the Black. The rules that we make for ourselves and place on each other are literally all we have that separates us from the dead.
Well said.
Someone has to make sure that that structure remains in place.
I understand what you mean. And curiously, if you were to be the one to lead this fleet in its day-to-day,
his eyebrows shoot up like what?
What would you do as someone to bring order and who appreciates order and structure in a chaotic space? What would be your first act?
I would ask you what goals you want to accomplish. This fleet is at your service by oath. I think that there might have been a time we could have returned to a regular life of piracy, and that time is years past. We are too connected and too supported by the Federated Suns to break away from it, so I think that service to your house is what we have. It is the goal of the chief of a military unit to interpret the job of its lord that has been laid out for it. You have goals. I would ask you what those goals were and formulate strategies to accomplish them.
Well said.
I do not currently know what your goals are. They were not shared with me by the Admiral.
As discretion is sometimes necessary. That said, there may become a time that we will discuss those further. I thank you for your thoughts, and I will let you continue on with your day-to-day.
Of course. He gives you a nod. He turns. He's on the short range as soon as he's out the door. Hat goes back on in the process in one smooth move. Got the Kangol back on, and he's just like, Jeffries, I want those reports. I need to know what's going on deck 13. You hear Jeffries goes, I'm stuck in the tube, sir. Damn it, Jeffries, get out of the damn tube.
Yeah,
Yusuf. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I think we like have a moment of pause as like Anko mulls over the information she's just gotten from William Whelan, and she kind of taps the bobblehead that goes like back and forth, and just stares at it for a moment, thinking
about Jasper.
Yeah, just kind of like getting lost.
WWJD.
Yeah, I mean it's like a combination of what would Jasper do, but also like kind of an anchor of strength of like making a hard decision and moving forward with it.
Yeah, it's your totem.
Yeah, in some way. Yeah,
It's sick.
Yusuf of the Azami. Lord.
What's up?
Of no particular territory yet. You've got time to kill. There's a lot going on this fleet. You haven't seen your mercenaries in a while. I don't want to do the scene with Sam without, Sam being there where you snitch on the Duchess.
Yeah.
But there's also plenty of characters on board this fleet that we've mentioned that perhaps you haven't met with. So where do you want to go? What do you want to do? I know you were also interested in sniffing around Badger, who was your, your half brother's right hand man.
Yeah, I think I want to go with Badger first, and then check in on my mercenaries.
So Badger and his son Mark, who you briefly met upside down on a chair, when you went to the Hiroka residence. Do you remember that there were a number of children, and then there was a fourth child who you didn't recognize and you didn't know anything about, and the child was just sitting upside down in a chair, just with his legs in the air?
That was him.
That's Badger's son, Mark Davies.
Oh my god, this little rascal.
Badger and Mark are just taking short 0G hops around the dropship bay of the mercenaries, and Badger is walking him through like what the different parts of a mech are. The kid is actually pretty involved in like mechs. It seems like as a 4-year-old he likes the idea of mechs, but he also tries to like get in the arm joint and like make the mech wave its arm.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like his dad's just like, no, it's not a good idea to be in there, Mark. Why don't we stay out here? Maybe I'll see if I can find Boomer and get him to.
Yeah, my nephew's 4, so this makes perfect sense. There's 2 things he likes, and those are trucks and pterodactyls. So like, that's very. This is probably the coolest truck he's ever seen.
Yeah,
so,
he's
100%.
trying to get the Wolfhound to raise its massive mech arm, and it's basically like a 4-year-old cramming himself in an armpit, and his dad just like, no, let's come back out here, buddy.
Get out of the actuator. Come on, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, he basically is like holding his son before him as a human shield as you float over to him.
Oh yeah.
And he says, Lord Jasper, so Lord Yusuf. Every time I look at you, I think of Jasper. It's a problem.
Hey, look, I get it.
It's just the character I associate with you now.
It's been 75 episodes, and there were like 5 episodes since Jasper passed away or something like that. So
yeah, man,
it's been a long time since Jasper died. Let's be really clear.
It's true. But I mean, like real time versus episodes, I feel like it's only been like a handful, maybe 2. Yeah,
it's been like 6 or 7, I think. Been a while.
Right. Yeah,
it's been a while.
Yeah, we're all on the same page there. It's been a while.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool, I guess. Boy. Let's say I'm not on good terms necessarily with Badger, like friendly enough to be like call him Badger or whatever, right?
I think pretty much everybody calls him Badger. Do you even know his actual name?
Something Edward?
It's Philip Davies. Edward is his grandfather.
Right. Okay. There you go. Phil. Matt. So no, I would have
you
to.
Just know
I would know his name.
That's literally
hold on.
No one has ever called him Philip in front of you.
Yeah, that's me. I'm not Yusuf. You know, I don't live and breathe this world like he does the whole time.
I think for Yusuf, you've never seen anybody call him Philip. No one on the show has ever called him Philip except his own family members.
That's true. Okay.
Everybody just goes, listen, this how everyone called my dad Skip for some reason, even though he wasn't the captain of a ship. I still don't know the origin of that fucking nickname.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, then I guess I'll call him Badger.
People who call people Jim, even when their name isn't Jim. Or Jimbo.
Jimbo's good. Hey, Badger. I want to check in and see how you're doing.
You can see he's trying.
Look at this little one. As I go over to his kid.
Yeah. The kid seems excited to meet with you.
Yeah, for sure.
And Mark says, "Are you Jasper's brother?" And Badger's like, shh. Yeah, Mark, what did we say about talking about things like that? And then they both say together, family business is not for the public. That's good.
Nice.
Because it can be hurtful and insulting to people, and you don't want to be hurtful and insulting to others, do you? And he's like, no, Dad. It's like, good. Now we can apologize to Lord Yusuf about asking him. And he turns, he turns the kid turns with him, right? Yeah. They're all three of you are like imparting momentum upon each other as you like go closer or farther away or like accidentally bump into each other. And the kid says, sorry, Lord Yusuf, for asking about the past.
Don't worry, little shooter, as I rub his head.
As you do that, you push him down and his dad starts to rotate forward as a result.
Hang on. You know what? I have something for you. Let me look at my pockets. 1 second.
Are you just going to pick something up? It feels like you have a mini somewhere that you're about to...
I do. I give him a little crab mini.
A crab?
Yeah.
He immediately lights up and he starts tugging at his dad's sleeve. He's like, it's just like yours. He's like, yes, that's right. That's a CRB-20 crab.
Yeah. Look, it's a great little mech, and look, you can be a little mech warrior too. Here you go, anytime you want.
Oh, my dad said I can be anything I want to be.
And I want to be a crab. Crunch, crunch. Yeah. And that's true. You can be anything you want. Look, a kid can always change his stars.
Oh, this is huge news for him now that another adult has confirmed this for him. Yeah. It's one thing to hear something from your parents, right? But when somebody else confirms it, it's a big deal.
Sure. And it's especially a big deal coming from someone who's like a bastard who's finally becoming a little bit more appreciated politically and societally. So of course I'm going to tell him that
anything a 4-year-old. He doesn't understand anything.
I know, of course not. But his dad does when I say that, right? This is like a Pixar joke, like some the crab is for the 6-year-old. All right. And we're doing the dad who's watching it with his son joke.
In the background, you hear the sound of like a wrench or something being dropped, and somebody goes, "Oh, psycho!" And everybody just like claps all of a sudden.
Yeah, I literally do this to them. Yeah.
Is there something I can do for you, my lord? But he doesn't say my lord because you are not his lord. In fact,
I know.
your presence aboard this ship is a direct threat to his lord. So he probably says, "Is there something I can do for you, Lord Yusuf?"
Yeah. Oh, nothing. I was just checking in to see how you were doing after the news of the admiral.
Yes, the admiral, and he looks at Mark and he says, "Who's gone on a very long vacation, far away in the stars."
Yeah. But I tell him, but of course I look at the kid, right, and be like, we can talk about this some other time. But listen, I really though, listen, I don't want any hard feelings between anything about us. I don't even know why there would be. I like you a lot. I just hope that everything's kind of cool between us. I know it's not very cool with, pointing down to the rest of the Mechwarriors. So I'm working on them. They're not, you can only do so much with that material.
He's looking. He finds something that he's looking for, and then he turns to Mark and he says, "Okay, are you ready to go across the dropship bay?" And he's like, "I'm ready, Dad. I'm ready."
Crab online.
You have to go slow. Do not push hard off of me. And then he whistles, and what is the name of the Irish guy in your mercenary unit? Samuel Barrett. Samuel Barrett, right? Why are you? It's the captain.
Oh yeah, Samuel Barrett. Yeah. Sorry.
So he whistles,
I'm looking at my
four
mech warriors. I'm like, none of those are Irish. What are you talking? But no, of course, Barrett. Yeah.
He says, "Captain Barrett," and Barrett's like, "Yo!" He turns.
"Hey, laddie!"
the Mark pushes off of his hands at 0.25 G's and begins a very slow cross of the dropship bay, as Barrett's just like, "I don't know if I can get him." Like the kid's 30 feet away, and he's just like, "Oh, he's coming in way too quick."
Yeah. Oh, this kind of has to be awesome.
It's like inching along, right?
Yeah. The Interstellar theme plays.
In the process, because as the kid pushes off of him, counterforce, right? Even though he's a much larger adult,
I know.
He grabs a strap nearby along the wall to just keep himself from going anywhere, so he can anchor himself for a conversation with you. Perhaps also emotionally anchor himself. And he says, "I'll be honest with you, Yusuf. Can I call you Yusuf?"
Oh, of course.
You represent a challenge to the sovereignty of the family line that I am sworn to. You show up out of nowhere and offer to marry my lady, which she has taken great offense to. Despite her wishes that you do otherwise, you have yourself declared a legal bastard and lord. I do my best to not see you as a threat, because you are not a threat to the House of Davies, but you are a problem to the House of Hiroka. I am concerned that one day I may be the solution to that problem, but I don't dislike you. You remind me of Jasper to some extent. And we have worked well in the past together, he looks around, the family members of these filthy pirates, flashing back to when you abandoned the 600 constituents of the LeBeau clan to their eventual deaths. Badger was pretty psyched up about letting them die, and Yusuf got behind that. So
yeah.
I would like to think of you as a friend, but I am afraid that my position means that eventually we may not be.
I understand. Job comes first.
Do you truly love Lady Hiroka, or are you offering to consolidate the bloodline? Or, I'm sorry to ask about your motive there, but it is important to me.
My interests are always in the protection of your liege. I don't, as in, I'm deflecting his answer. I don't want to get reveal.
Have you considered marriage to literally anyone else?
I mean, if you love someone, why would you?
So you do love her. Again, Lord Yusuf, I hate to intrude upon your decision-making process. But
You're well. You've gone well beyond the perimeter. Go ahead.
Yes, well, we certainly are in the periphery now, aren't we?
Yeah. Tell me. Keep asking. I'm okay.
How many conversations have you had with Tamari? What do you love about her? Can it be unrequited? Like, I am concerned that you have set a goal for yourself that is unattainable. You are a danger to the House of Hiroka, and I do not know where your wellspring of what you call affection for my lady comes from. And if I can divert you from this course, I absolutely would love to. I have some cousins who are unmarried.
I was gonna say, I was like, Badger, I'm gonna stop you there, man. You're not my type.
I am already married.
Another obstacle. This can't happen between us.
I apologize again, Lord Yusuf, but I am not attracted to you.
Okay.
In that way.
Then
I consider you a brother in arms.
So then this is just a cautionary warning about.
You are attempting to deflect my inquiries with humor.
Sure am, man.
Your brother gave me the call sign Badger because I do not relent.
I get it. Oh. Man, your kid's great.
Thank you so much. He'll be glad to hear that another member of the House of Hiroka finds him to be excellent.
Yeah. Well, Badger, if you were Lord of Whittington, what would you have me do, man?
I'm a knight of Whittington.
I know, but if you were, the governor, you had all the power. Hell, you're Hans Davian. What would you have me do?
I am no Hans Davian. You are a mercenary.
What is a hypothetical? I hate hypothetical. Sorry, I love this guy.
You are a mercenary captain who has a tenuous noble bloodline.
Yeah.
That makes you dangerous. History is full of the worst crimes of humanity committed by men with your level of titleage and an armed force behind them. They have destroyed kingdoms and become kings themselves.
Absent Comstar, but continue.
You are in a precarious position that you are capable of great change in the structure of a society where that is not normally possible. If I were to decide your fate, I would place you in a position where you had more stability so that you would not need to create great change. I think that the House of Wheat sounds very interesting, and I look forward to meeting whomever you may partner with and create an heir with.
Well.
But I can tell you that it will not be Tamari Hiroka. I do not often speak on behalf of others, and especially not my lady, but her loathing of your behavior has been made evident and very clear.
That's a solid copy.
How do you feel about what I've just told you?
Yeah. How many worlds have you seen?
He probably hasn't actually seen that many, less than a dozen.
Yeah. Well, I've seen what the larger Federated Suns has to offer. And I know that there's things bigger.
Wild Irish Rose, huh?
I know.
Yellow Rose.
I appreciate
Texas. I feel like I could keep going through Rose references.
But no, this is exactly what I'm going back to. But despite going everywhere, the place I come back here is the place that even where I was born and knew when I was instilled that nobody wanted me. I know I belong here. And if that just means I have to prove it, so be it, man.
No one is saying you don't belong on Whittington. We're just saying that Lady Hiroka does not belong to you. And she never will, because she does not like you. There is no love in her heart. I really cannot emphasize this any more strongly.
Yep.
Your pursuit of it will become a problem for which I am the solution, as I've previously mentioned.
Yeah, I know. I know what he's saying, but I won't be deferred. Hold on. Actually, just real quick. I really would. I wish Sam was here because I would love his opinion on this as well. But like conventionally, I think Yusuf would actually like to marry Tamari and would be willing to have like McDougal like force like some kind of political marriage if possible.
Of course,
like,
you're a stalker.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, could I be a villain? Is that okay for me to be toxic like that? Like,
absolutely.
Obviously,
it is okay for you to be a villain, but listen, we'll have to see if McDougal.
Oh yeah, I know. It's
not
obviously. It's not going to say
does he have the juice to make it happen when we get back. Who knows
but I'm wondering.
Happened
I'm wondering is that I want to be part of Tamari's life and take over House Oroka. Like
this is a classic bad guy storyline. Of course.
I know. Okay, and just so it's clear, like, I don't know if that makes people uncomfortable, and I would totally not do that if we didn't want to.
This is the most creeper stalkery shit that I've seen, but
for sure.
You know, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, this ain't even nothing new. Like,
this is some fucking worm tongue stuff, right? You know, like, yeah, this is fine.
Just to be clear, though, after this story, we're doing another time skip, and you guys are playing the kids. So Jasper as a villain will be an NPC rather than someone that. Yes, God.
It's okay, man.
Jasper, why did you die, Jasper?
You tell me, man. It's your fucking dice. It's your dice, man. What do you want from me?
And I mean, is this the path that you want Yusuf to take, Eric? That's the other question.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about it after talking to him, and I kind of do. Like, I think it means so much to him to have this part of the world, but I feel like he's going to realize that he doesn't actually want it after. And like, you know what I mean?
Of course, The Sopranos, or literally any other show about.
Yeah, he gets what he wants, but it tastes like fucking. Yeah, it tastes like ash in his mouth, you know, because it's not actually like reciprocated or whatever. He forced his way into this position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure, man. He's like Macbeth, man. Like he's gonna be. It sucks, and I want him to be a tragic character. It's to be awesome.
We don't refer to it like that around here. We call it the Scottish play or whatever.
All right, sure. Well, you know what I mean. Anyways, thanks. I just wanted to check in to see if that's because otherwise I would drop it right now and like that won't be the plan at all if any had anything on Bridge 4.
So
you know what I mean?
Much of that comes over to Badger? Like, is his guard up instantly that you're a creepy stalker who's going to force? Okay.
All right. No, but I just think that he's wrong, and I'm going to prove it. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, don't use Yusuf as a role model in your life, guys. First off, he's a mercenary captain, which is never a good position to be in. Yeah. So
before we cut to you talking to your mercenaries, I want to give the Lady Khan an opportunity to advance her side of things. I don't know if there's anyone in particular you want to talk to, or if you just want to tour the ship and see what's happening somewhere, maybe go see the kids.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a desire to see the kids if she hasn't since the incident of since like the admiral and everything, and potentially because I think wasn't she warned about the individual who like from the planet. Oh God, I'm blanking on his name, but it was the guy that was like, "Wait, you are working with the pirate?"
Yes, you're talking about the only adult to have arrived off of the planet.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's like an inkling of going to that, but I think the priority wise, that's not something that I think she can do right this moment. So
It's Raphael, by the way.
Raphael. Okay, thank you. I'll write that down for later. So
no last name. They don't do last names down there. Formerly known as the Seventh Protector, Raphael.
Seventh Protector. Okay.
That's formerly. He's not Seventh Protector anymore. One of his sons is.
Sure. So yeah, so I think there's going to be kind of like montage of Anko going from place to place, kind of getting a sense and just walking the halls of the different parts of the fleet to kind of in some way make her presence known, or not known, but like walk among the people, as it were, right?
Listen, I'm considered middle-aged now. Have you ever heard of this show that you may not have seen it in your youth? It's called Lost.
Yes.
What about Stargate Atlantis?
I have seen that too.
Stargate Universe. Sorry, Stargate Universe.
I actually never I watched maybe a couple episodes of Stargate Universe. Why?
So at the end of almost every one of the first seasons of Lost, and in almost all of Stargate Universes, the end of the episode was like a montage of things around.
Oh.
With the music playing over it until for Lost, it's when Hurley's cassette player dies. For Stargate Universe, it never stops. They just constantly are playing sad emo music while walking around the ship. You are walking up and down the jump ship, going to its composite dropships. People here they still have a job to do. They still have a day-to-day to do. They have to unload all this food that Comstar is giving to them. They are in negotiations with Captain Jamie Dawson. Because as you might recall, his ship is only allowed to have certain dietary needs. Nothing sweeter than a graham cracker, that sort of deal. Very strict dietary needs. So he is basically selling his portion of the Comstar goods to the rest of the fleet for other goods and other services. So all of that needs to be arranged before the next jump out of the system. So everybody is working on a clock before that jump is done. No one is sure who's in charge, right? LeBeau is dead. There are whispered conversations. It's
and I think
it's a tough day to be alive for these people. They still have things to do. The fungus just got cleaned out of the ventilation system, but the kids have picked up on it, right? And some kids are pretty emotionally sensitive. They understand when weird things are happening for adults. They hear what the adults are saying, even if they don't understand it, and then repeat it to each other. Your son and several of the other kids who are a bit older than him are with the Duchess, and she is basically like entertaining hundreds of kids at the same time with like hide and go seek event. So to keep the kids from talking to each other and to keep them active and engaged, she's turned the Seeker's dropship bay into like a padded obstacle course. So, and there's lots of rules for like you can't leap too quickly because you'll break your own neck, right? So there are some of the bigger, older kids who are on standby with like net guns to just catch kids who are moving too quickly in like a big net and just like bola wrap them and then try to arrest their movement as quickly as possible.
Incredible.
They're trying to keep a bunch of kids from killing themselves.
No, it's kind of like zero G boot camp for a bunch of kids.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like a 200-person game of hide and go seek.
That's wild.
In a spooky abandoned industrial park that's also covered in padding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's like a moment where we see Anko watching the Duchess kind of lay down the ground rules and like dealing with unruly children or children that are getting distracted by something else that's like kind of flown by them or imagine most things strapped down, but like getting distracted by something shiny, right? And so she's like, keeping them in line, or like one of the older kids are trying to keep them focused on the game itself. And we see Anko's eyes get a little bit of a tear, reminiscing about the potential of the youth and what they are capable of. And thinking like she's basically grappling with Jasper, and like maybe sees with thoughts of Jasper, since she was just looking at the bobblehead and thinking about like hard decisions and thinking about the connection that she'd made with LeBeau. And so like this is one of those rare moments where she finds herself maybe alone in the hallways and kind of lets go and shows some vulnerability. So whether or not someone sees that, she's not aware of it.
Do you want someone to see it?
I think if anyone, I think it would be fascinating if like Kate Meacham just happened to be walking the halls and sees this.
What would Kate Meacham do? When you say you're having, sorry, I don't remember your phrasing.
It was like a moment of vulnerability. So like a tear.
Okay, there's a tear. All right.
Yeah. Looking at the children. Yeah.
Kate Meacham basically dive tackles you back into a hallway. Like she sees you, you're about to cry. Kate comes around the corner. She doesn't say anything, but she basically like spears into you and pulls you into a hallway, and then she switches your momentum rotationally to slow you down. Like the two of you are now swooshing before one of you hits the wall and starts to arrest your impact. In that swooshing time, she has pulled you to go face to face with her, used one hand to pull out like handkerchief and wipe your tear so that it like it's a super absorbent cloth, right? It's to prevent people who are crying from letting salt water bounce around the dropship and corrode stuff. And with her other hand, she's pulled you into a big hug and put a hand on the back of your head, and she's just like, all right, I know it's been a big day. I know that LeBeau's dead. I'm real sorry that happened to you. I didn't know you two were so close, but I have to tell you, ma'am, you can't start crying in front of those kids, because as soon as you do, they'll all be crying. They'll all be crying, and they won't even know why. And if you think the poop situation's bad down here, just wait until you see the tears. Whatever you gotta do, you do it here. She's like rubbing your back down. Just let it out. I know what it's like to see friends die. I know what it's like to see someone pass.
Yeah, I think there's like a moment of like shock from Anko, who's like, who is this person? Like they, I don't know if they've actually ever met. Like,
I don't think you have met. It's just that you can see her name tag says Meacham, and she's pulled you into a. She's like smearing your face onto her uniform.
Yeah,
she's doing her best to, no matter what. Like, yeah, she's doing like emotional moment mom stuff, but she's also doing, You cannot allow your bodily fluids to float around my truck.
Yeah. And so I think there's like a moment of shock and what? Meacham.
Yes, ma'am.
And
sorry, I know it's a bit forward, but that's kind of how we do things. I know it ain't very noble-like, but
no, it's quite all right.
All right, you get those tears out. You know,
your reputation precedes you.
I appreciate that. You know, I'd say I worked my whole life for whatever reputation you think I have.
And Anko would just like return the embrace, which is probably something she hasn't done in 7 years.
Okay.
Like she's maybe hugged.
Your husband's
like
been gone, so
yeah. And so the only people she's hugged is children, her children and the other noble families.
Right. She's just like, all right, dear. You just
I feel like
it on out.
Yeah, and I feel like the hug is longer than Meacham maybe expected it to be, but maybe like Meacham's used to that, where she's doing that emotional absorption.
She's a mom. She's literally a mom to several members of this crew. She's also been the wife of several members of this crew.
Yeah,
this ain't too unusual for her. Listen, when you have a divorce and you live on the same jump ship,
you got to be emotionally intelligent.
You know,
you got to be emotionally intelligent and just have the high EQ. You know what I mean?
You Being just have to learn how to help people process their emotions real quick.
Yep. So I think there's like a moment where they're bonded there to moment, and she just lets it out. Like probably one of the first moments of true vulnerability that Anko has demonstrated. Obviously tucked away now with Meacham, but there's kind of like in Anko's head a verification of some of the harder questions that she was considering. And I think that like one of the sobs kind of finishes like it kind of like absorb or I'm trying to think of the word, but it's stifled just a bit as she like kind of recomposes herself. Thank you, Commander. I don't know if we've formally met.
Just Kate.
Of course, Kate. Please call me Anko. It seems that when we're out here, especially, formalities seem less important, or in some respects more, as McDougal would have us understand.
I want to just break in here real quick. Keep your thought. Just know that in the background you hear 200 children starting to chant sniff butts, sniff butts. Please continue.
All right. It has been a hard day. A lot to process. And a hole in the fleet. A missing piece, as it were. And as someone who is devoted to making sure this fleet's success and making sure that the people are cared for, I was wondering if
what you're about to say is broken up by your emotional support monkey that you established you very definitely have. Finally catches up with you, senses your emotional distress, launches itself in 0G onto your shoulder, uses 3 limbs to cling on and a 4th one to start wiping your tears away with its emotional support hanky.
Do
we have a name for this creature?
Yes, it was Jasper, remember?
So it's the same name as your son.
This is like Jasper. No, my son's name is Jasper Jr. This is just Jasper.
Yeah, there's no way anyone would get that confused. Hey, Jasper the monkey. Got it.
I think we just call him JP for short.
So Jasper begins making soft cooing noises in between wiping your tears away. They're also like licking your hair and trying to get it back into position.
Oh my.
Please continue what you were saying, though.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep interrupting this dramatic emotional moment with, because look, I know you want to have a dramatic emotional moment, but these dropships are crazy, dude. Everybody lives right on top of each other, and things are always going on.
No, honestly, I appreciate it.
I don't know if I have
adds like a level of
emphasized
of
how weird jump ship travel is, but it's basically like sniffing everybody else's butt all the time.
Oh my god. I think there's like kind of JP, I'm fine. Just relax.
He makes softer cooing noises now.
Kate, I'll be frank with you. I'm looking for someone to help me in this transition with the Admiral gone. And your name has come up several times as someone that those of the fleet love and care for, and who cares for the fleet. I didn't expect it for us to have this conversation here in this hallway, but then again, there are a lot of things that we have done on this journey already that we're not expecting.
She's waiting for you to say something because you clearly queued up something dramatic.
What I'm curious about is how do you feel about what direction this fleet should go? What do the people want to do? Do they want to continue this life? Or do they believe in the Admiral's vision? To the point where they would follow someone new with that vision.
Look, Philip LeBeau weren't the first LeBeau some of this crew served. LeBeaus have been around for a while, and before the LeBeaus, it was somebody else and somebody else. She pats a hand on the hallway of the Seeker and says, "Ship ain't made for me. Ship ain't even been in my family for very long. It was in somebody else's family and somebody else's family and somebody else's family hundreds of years. Some of these things that we got, they don't make them anymore. Some of the things, they ain't made them for hundreds of years. Been the Star League since you could get proper replacement parts. We hand manufacture replacements for some of that stuff. When you work as far out into the black as our jump ship does, if something goes wrong, you could die. We all know that. Every jump, if something goes wrong with that jump drive, we're done for. You're not going anywhere. It's happened before. You gotta make your own stuff. You gotta come up with solutions with what you've got. And this operation only has so much reserve and overhead that we can fall back on. So you gotta get real creative. And that's what the people out here are used to. We're adaptable people. We're spacers. And we're not just anti-spacers. We're periphery spacers. I know you're a big name noble from 2 different houses now, but I don't think you know exactly what that means. We'll get along just fine no matter where we are. Living is what we do, and staying out from somebody's boot is how we've done it. Comstar might have come down hard on old Phil, but you know, I'm sure whoever you get to replace him, or if you take command yourself, or whatever happens, we're going to keep doing our best to survive as best we can. And look, I know billions of different groups have said that throughout the years, and some of them have never been heard from again. Whether it's crews sailing off on Terra into the unknown unknowns of the sea, or whether it's the first wave of Terran explorers going out and colonizing. But we've been doing pretty well for ourselves so far. We know a thing or two.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know who's going to lead this fleet? It's you. You're going to tell us what we need to do. And if you think you need somebody else to help interpret that vision, I can do that. Somebody can do that. I'm sure you'll make the right decision, because you may be a city slicker noble from the Federated Suns, but somebody put a boot to your family, to the Seppakus. You're still here. You're still Baroness.
I think there's like an unexpected smile, like just kind of creep across Anko's face at like that sentiment of perseverance, and like the kind of the shared perseverance between them and Anko. And Anko looks deep into Kate's eyes and just says, I can see why they love you. You have a way of calming people, a way of directing their energy towards a positive and a new heart. Thank you.
So who is getting the job, you know, just so I know who I'm saluting to tomorrow morning.
Well, I think you're right. We need someone who can bridge the gap between the worlds you've lived, worlds we've lived.
The Transformers theme song starts playing.
You're
not the touch.
And I think Anko puts a hand onto Kate's shoulders and just says, I don't think it is going to be one person, but a team of us. Council of us. Working together.
Well, I highly caution you against that, ma'am. When you're out here, rule by committee works well in a democracy where you have a very stable situation and you don't require immediate executive authority.
To be clear, what I mean by that is one of us will lead. And I think it might be wise for me to do that.
You've managed to talk yourself into supreme executive authority. Perfect. Amazing. She says, well, all right, Admiral.
And for that, of course, I will need your help.
Of course. Are you asking me to be your executive officer?
I think there's like a moment as like, and this is just a moment. Like it doesn't take long for her to come back and say what she's going to say, but it's like a flashback of her talking with Whelan, talking about the chaos in the black and the creating order from that chaos. And I think there's like another flash to when Kate caught Anko and showed that like affection and that connection, and basically like gave them a moment's reprieve to recognize what they were going through. And she looks at Kate again and smiles and says, "Yes, if you would do so, I would be honored to have you."
In the background, hundreds of children are chanting "sniff butts" even louder as laughter breaks out.
AP, from a mechanical standpoint, like obviously one of the reasons
if you are commanding this fleet by yourself, you have an empty spot for a knight.
Yes,
you are now also responsible for whatever. You are now directly responsible for whatever actions this fleet takes in the future.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I think she feels like she needs to do that.
Okay.
But I think this is also kind of an interesting setup for my legacy, what she's going to do.
The screen goes blurry and out of focus here. And we hear a song that sounds like it should be playing at a tiki bar somewhere at a Mexican resort. And we see a man named Richard Shaw in his Battlemech cockpit pouring a pile of fresh salsa into a margarita, then capping it all up. And he throws it from his cockpit to another mech's cockpit.
Yeah.
So
dude, it's Jimmy Buffett, man. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but I can't say that for copyright purposes.
Okay,
I mean,
sure.
Clearly, you all know what
head.
song
okay.
I'm definitely referring to.
All right. Yeah, for sure. Separate but legally distinct. I understand.
It's called Mojitoville.
Yeah.
It's the name of the song.
That's good, dude.
Oh my god.
Awesome. Okay.
So, as you may know, the captain of this particular ship, Jamie Dawson, has declared no alcoholic drinking on board the ship. The mercenaries have been deeply displeased with that. So they have set up a situation where while they are in their mech cockpits, they have declared themselves as being not on
sovereign
the ship.
citizens.
So Salsa prepares drinks in his cockpit and throws it to other mercenary pilots in their cockpit so that they can drink on board. It's become a feud between the mercenaries and the commander of the dropship that, it's like a college hijinks movie, right? There's never ever going to be an end to this. It's always going to be a point of tension in the background, a running gag.
It's incredible.
The pilot catches it out of the air and goes, "Dog." And then he starts slurping on it and goes, "Spicy dog, spicy." That is the scene you come to as you float over. Going past you in the opposite direction is Mark Davies moving at 1/4 acceleration speed back towards his father, having been launched off of one Captain Samuel Barrett.
Unbelievable. Gentlemen, are we still doing this?
You are not the most popular person in this mech bay right now. It would actually be fair to say you're the least popular person in this mech bay.
Yeah, but I pay their bills, so
yeah. You do have one ace up your sleeve beyond Samuel Barrett being your compatriot and companion. Call sign Psycho Malika Musavi has served with Yusuf for a very long time, longer than he's known Samuel Barrett. She is the pilot of the Black Knight during the last war, the one that Rad made fan art of.
Yeah.
The rest of the pilots fear and respect her in that order, and the fear greatly outranks the respect. They gave her the term psycho not as a term of endearment, but because they believe she could murder them in their sleep without question if they ever deeply
and
upset
get away
her.
with it. Yeah, that sounds about right, actually.
So as these guys are like coming together, right? Malika floats sideways to them, 90-degree angle, her hair coming out like squid tentacles. They suddenly find themselves moving faster to come meet with you. Is this a card game? Is that what's about to happen? What do you want to do with these guys?
Honestly, playing a card game sounds incredible. That sounds like exactly the kind of thing I would do with these guys.
All right. So all of your pilots come together. Do you invite Barrett, who isn't technically a mech warrior? I mean, he's...
Oh yeah, for sure. It's the
tanker.
This is I would call it... Excuse me. It's a team building exercise. It's for the whole company.
So all 7 members of this company.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? To add to this though?
Yeah.
Are there any technically are any of the kids, or what's the name of the steward guy that speaks for the kids?
Raphael.
Raphael. Technically, he's part of the company, and would he have argued to be a part of the game?
No, he doesn't like any of you.
Okay.
He is deeply upset. By what happened between him and McDougal. Not even the fact that the Khan lied to him, but the fact that McDougal almost threw him at an airlock. He has become deeply embittered towards reality, and his only purpose in life now is to making sure that these kids make their way to Whittington and everyone keeps their promises to them. His contact with the rest of the fleet has been very minimal.
Yeah, I super respect that. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
He's Obi-Wanning it. He's going to go live out in the desert for 20 years with no contact with other humans. Occasionally, he'll give his camel dog a slice of meat from the butchery. That's it.
I respect.
Venom does some 0G card shuffling tricks. Right? So
sure.
A lot of card shuffling tricks rely on the fact that gravity pulls everything in a certain direction, right?
Yeah.
So his tricks involve putting a slight twist on the cards as they move between his hands, so you can see which cards are which as they slowly float between him, and then like shuffle, occasionally grab one that makes its way away from the rest of the pile.
Oh my god.
Are we thinking like Texas Hold'em?
Yeah, I imagine that's sort of their game, right?
All right, yeah. There's probably like someone has a little fold-out table that includes spots where you can like tuck your cards into, so they don't go flying off in 0G, and you can like lift it up and be like, oh, that's my card.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, it's super fancy.
Yeah. They invested well in this.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Barrett usually cleans up here because his deception score is very high, as is his tactics. He's very good at lying.
So he doesn't play. That makes
I feel like he deals.
Yeah.
He's somebody everyone could trust, and maybe he does it because he's not a mech warrior and everybody else here is. The last member of this group we haven't talked to yet, Boomer, has basically fucking hates you because you stole his mech from him.
Yeah, that's fair. I remember doing that.
So Basil Spiros, he's like a salt and pepper Grecian guy. This might be his last mercenary tour of duty. He's got like a cybernetic eye and like forward spiked loose, salt pepper hair.
I love it. Then before I'm showing up, he calls me on Malacca. I love it.
It's when you met him, he was trying to keep the beard under control, but now that he's been in space for so long, he's just stopped trying because it takes too much effort to chase down all those little hairs. He
blames the water rationing or whatever. Yeah, dude, I know this guy. Personally. This is awesome.
His skin is starting to get a little saggy. He's still a good mech warrior, right?
Yeah.
He's still built, but he's got a gut sort of deal. Like he's got a comparison. Bod. He's like he's like I think Vietnam's too far away. He's like a Gulf War vet, dad bodding his way in the neighborhood, doing a barbecue, putting out gyros, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Back in my day, kids. Sprinkled in with some random Grecian insults.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's just literally, you're just describing Baltimore. Like I swear to God, dude. This is okay.
Probably the unique point about him is that he wears a Han Solo vest, and he has, instead of buttons on the flaps, he has
not the cyber eye,
gold crosses.
Okay, it's the golden cross Han Solo jacket.
Yeah,
this guy's awesome. Hey, Boomer.
He takes a look at you. He pulls out an e-cig and he vapes on it. He goes, "Sir."
Yeah. Don't. Here's your chance to get revenge on me for stealing your mech.
Yeah, you're looking to take my money or my mech today, sir.
Yeah.
And everybody laughs like, very funny.
I think I'm going for your retirement. Come on, Boomer. We know we got a few more years out of you. I make fun of his age. Come on. What do you call us? Malakas?
Salsa hands you a spicy margarita.
Oh yeah, I absolutely take one.
Yeah. So
God, what did you do to this one?
It's the cayenne pepper.
Cayenne. Jesus.
Yeah.
Nice.
Actually found this old recipe in a Comstar database while we had open access in that jump ship fleet. It's a little something called sriracha. There's no like copyright lock on the ingredients for it. Apparently it's open source. So I've recreated it here.
Oh, it's pretty tangy. I like it. It's got an umami. You know what? This would be really that sriracha. Like, does he have sriracha? Does a spare sriracha around, or it's just in the sauce?
Like he doesn't have a bottle of sriracha. He specifically made it to put into the margaritas.
Oh, gotcha.
As part of the salsa.
Tell you what, if you weren't a mech warrior and you want to open a business, there might be something here. This stuff might be really good on a triple F burger.
He looks out beyond the walls of the jump ship into space, dreaming of the day that Shaw's sriracha is on 6 worlds.
Yeah.
Maybe that's his retirement one day. Maybe.
Yeah, one day. That's amazing. I want to play this guy's. All right, but yeah, no. So in general,
you're like, I want to play all of the other characters of my mercenary company. I want to be all of them.
I like playing dysfunctional characters. It's fun. I don't play games for power fantasies. I play them like fiasco characters. So like, absolutely. Yeah. So, but to be clear, like, so these guys actually hate me, but if I order them to do something, they do it, right? Like, I want to make sure. Yeah. Listen, okay. Great.
They're cutthroat mercenaries, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen the pictures of Battletech mercenaries where like it's dudes with wild hair sitting at a bar with their stats behind them and like their mech and shit like that?
Yeah, like you literally are just a dude at a roadhouse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is the thing about Battletech mercenaries. They might hate you. They might personally despise you, but their contracts with Comstar are iron fucking clad.
Yep.
They don't get to the level of rating that they're at unless they do the job, no matter what the circumstances are. And these guys are not good guys. They'll do the job no matter what the job is.
Oh, yeah. Being a mercenary involves selling any sympathy. That gets ejected on the drop out of your brain.
There are some very favored mercenary units in the inner sphere that have the sort of prestige and firepower to pull off mercy. Kellhounds, or Iridani Light Horse, Northwind Highlanders, but there's only
the ones that are getting the boxes.
Yes, the ones who are at the top of the mercenary unit.
Yeah, the rest of us who have to eat crumbs.
Waco's Rangers.
Yeah, we'll shank anybody. Yeah. And of course, like, I would like, so just in general, like, we don't talk about it, but like the rapport is that we've been through some shit together, but now we were doing a little well, and then things went terrible, and then we're kind of
these four are
the last ones I only remember their birthdays.
These 4 are the ones you hired after getting back to Whittington. They haven't been through any shit with you except this. Malika and Samuel Barrett are the ones that have done that.
Right.
And so while Samuel acts as kind of like the gentle, kind father of this unit, Malika is the twisted, psychotic sister.
Yeah. Okay.
She basically shows up when people are talking shit about you, and like they're in their mech, and she pulls herself from the top of the mech down because again, 0G is just like, you talking shit about the commader?
Yeah.
And then she slowly disappears.
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Watch your back.
Yeah. You can't prove that she's ever done anything to anyone, but
no,
she's very creepy.
Awesome. All right, well. All right.
How Samuel, you
shuffle up and deal. I let them win so that it makes them feel good.
Okay.
If they're hating me, they're not stabbing each other and they work better as a unit, is my logic.
Well, that logic would have worked out well previous to the 1900s. So
yeah. Well, okay, then tell me what is the good what is the proper what is the proper
I don't have the time
organizational psychology
of how leadership works, but certainly there have been many points throughout history where leaders have assumed if they are feared, everyone else will band together in their fear of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, the scary thing, I think the scariest thing to me would be if any of these guys are particularly good, they'll get snatched up and bought out from me.
I mean, It's not that any of them are bad, but they do live on the edge of the periphery in Whittington. So
yeah,
if they were particularly good, they'd be on Galatea or Outreach. You know, a real world.
Oh, isn't it Galatia?
I thought it was Galatea.
Oh, it was Galatia.
I've never heard anyone say that out loud.
The apostle, the apostle is like the Galatians. So it's Galatia.
Could be.
All right. Okay. Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. The
never
mercenary
heard it said out loud. It's like when someone
that one in
people
hardcore,
try to tell me Solaris is either Solaris or Solaris. I'm just like, I don't know.
It's the movie Solaris with George Clooney.
I've heard it different.
Okay. Especially
from Europeans.
That's fair. Well, you don't know any Europeans. So.
I've heard it both. I know plenty of fucking. How dare you?
Okay. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked.
You're literally
I'm not very good at it.
As much as Great Britain and England would like to pretend it's not, you are literally in Europe right now.
I know, that's the joke.
I'll tell you what the fucking joke is.
Yeah. Okay. The joke is that you're delaying the scene because you don't know how to run the poker game.
No, you have to fold on a pair of aces because you're trying to.
No, hold on. If I have a pair of aces, I have to win one. But I'll lose on a bet. No, you're right. I'll lose. Would I go in? No, I would go in. Yeah. But I'm feeling generous to them tonight. What do they want to know?
They are swapping stories about military and mercenary units that have gone missing in the periphery.
Nice.
They're telling ghost stories of units that came out here, mercenaries hunting down pirates that never came back, military units during the secession wars that disappeared off of unit rosters. Dog is talking about a secret military unit that's forming in the Draconis Combine, and he looks kind of sheepishly at you because he knows that Yusuf is literally born into a criminal commune.
Yeah.
But he still keeps going with the story anyway, even though he feels bad. Of like all Yakuza. So Yakuza aren't allowed to serve in the Draconis Combine mercenaries. Armed forces
DCMS.
Is anything more than like tankers and infantry. They're not allowed to serve as mech warriors. Mech warrioring is solely reserved for like full-blooded non-criminal citizens, and in fact mostly nobles, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the samurai knight class of people.
Yeah. On the other hand, that is one of the few ways of social mobility, is if you are good enough and you can find a unit that will take you, you can become a samurai, or at the very least a mech warrior.
Yeah.
He's talking about a secret all Yakuza mech warrior regiment being formed that they call the Ghosts. There are rumors about this unit forming up and down the Draconis March, which is where all of you live.
Yeah.
He swears it's real. His second cousin on New Samarkand told him that he saw a recruiter, on the streets trying to lure in Yakuzas into a back alley meeting where they would be recruited into this secret ghost division.
Man, people go disappearing and people go disappearing in the DCMS in back alleys all the time. It doesn't mean anything is kind of the thing that I say.
So your unit is pretty divided. Some of them believe in it, some of them don't.
Yeah.
Malika doesn't care.
Look, I've been a part of my share of Black Ops missions. There's no way there's something that can be kept under wraps that good without us hearing more about it. It's more than just a second cousin mentioning something to you. It doesn't happen.
Somewhere out there, the leader of the first ghost measurement is crying when he hears you say this.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
This is a real thing, but it's also a rumor up until it's confirmed in the next few years.
Right. But hey, then again, stranger things have happened. I mean, Immortal Warrior is based on a true story.
Everybody calls bullshit on that.
Yeah, I know. All right, you won't let that one slide? All right, cool. Well, can you? It's like, all right, well, you won't let that slide then. I guess it's time to show. Can you all? Can you beat these aces?
I went all in on a 2-3 off suite.
Yeah.
Odds.
I think from here
odds.
the conversation breaks down into discussing
the future.
No, they're gonna start rebroadcasting Solaris matches, and specifically they're going to rewatch all of the matches that the Count McDougal has been a part of.
Why? Can I ask why?
Because they think it's funny.
He
basically was like American Gladiators, right? Like, now he's some big time huge noble, but back then he was basically Blaze.
Oh yeah, no, it's literally like Donald Trump on wrestling.
I didn't want to say
the president. I know.
Donald
I got
Trump,
you.
the only president of the United States who's also a WWE champion and legend.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. 100%. Yeah. No. But literally, like, that's true. Like, for Lachlan McDougal being fucking Tywin Lannister, being like, I don't think of you at all. It's also like, 30 years ago. It's just like, what? Yeah. It's true. Never mind. I get why he said why now. I thought they were studying like his stuff, but no, this is hilarious.
They don't give a shit about any of that.
Yeah.
They just want to
honestly,
amuse themselves with young antics.
Honestly, this is like a hilarious scene for Sam to come in on next time we play. I'm watching it with them, man.
Okay. What is the coolest thing you've ever done with them?
What is the most embarrassing thing about him?
So if you'll recall, Sam has said that he dressed in local Solarian fashion, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So rather than coming into the arena in like Mechwarrior suit or like, like a costume, he would come in like a full business suit and then have to undress live in front of everybody and put his cooling vest on.
Unbelievable.
So all his matches were like 5 minutes longer than normal and had to include a bunch of ad breaks to just have him struggling into his equipment.
Perfect. That's so freaking good.
He did like the Triple H entering the arena in a business suit, like adjusting his tie, looking around, mean mugging the crowd while everybody yells at him, adjusting his tie again for no reason. Then swoosh, and he's just wearing his, what are the spandex bottoms or whatever? Leotard? I'm not even talking leotard. I'm just talking like hip and below, not like a full body thing.
Oh yeah, just like ballerina tights or whatever they're called.
Yeah, that is exactly what
yoga pants, basically.
Yeah.
Oh
No,
my
I'm
god.
talking about like the Stone Cold thing. No leggings. It's just
So
like the
Speedos
underwear
or
part.
like
Sure, Speedo. Sure, let's call it that. Once again, we're catering towards copyrighted material. We can't say Xerox on air.
Oh, that's a good point.
God. That's just hilarious. Like, yeah, I totally get though watching this with them. It's absolutely true how funny this is.
The other thing that they schedule afterwards, Malika is a huge fan of, I don't know if Yusuf's ever heard of it, but do you guys remember the old shows of like the princess and the prince dating that we had at the beginning of this show? You remember I had a bunch of fictional shows going on?
Yeah, not Pride and Royals?
Yeah, Pride and Royals, exactly.
Okay.
These people have never seen Pride and Royals before, and Malika bought her box set along.
Oh my god.
And it's causing an uproar with the pilots. Like, originally, Shaw was like, I'm never gonna like this show. And by episode 3, he's like, she said what?
Can't say that at the dinner party.
She said that was a powerful move. I can't believe. I'm not crying, guys. I'm not crying, okay?
It is so good. The show is incredible.
My partner literally sent me a reel from Instagram. It's exactly that, where it's like, it's basically a guy that's like, what are you watching? It's like, oh, it's something I didn't think you would enjoy. And then like 10 seconds later, wait, she said what? I'll start it over again. It's fine. We'll watch it all over again.
Incredible.
Pride and Royals making a comeback once again.
It deserves it. It deserves everything.
I mean, it was 5 seasons of some of the best television.
Undoubtedly.
Any closing scenes we want to pin on here?
No, I'm great.
Nothing that I can think of. I think there's like maybe a moment of Anko making herself up to the command deck and just like looking out into the stars, getting as like be prepped for the next jump.
Yeah, the stars stare back at you.
Yeah,
I'm blinking.
Then she's just like thinking about the life that she's now committed herself to, of what's next for her family and the legacy that she wants to leave behind.
Okay, I just want to remind you real quick that you are now personally responsible for the actions of this fleet, and you have also given Sergeant Van Loo the green light to, I don't remember your exact words, but
I'm okay with retconning
wild. There's no retconning it at this point. You're gonna have to talk her back from that.
Yes, yeah, that's fine.
Retcon, sir. No.
All right. Well, that I think is
I will have Kane on here at some point, and you will have a conversation.
I think that's fair, and that's one thing I was hoping for. Just like kind of getting a sense of Van Loo, for the preparation of that, because I recognize that and that's I think maybe one reason why she's taken this direction, to try to rein in what she's wrought, as it were. But yeah.
The final scene then is as you are standing on the jump ship's command deck, taking the seat, a throne perhaps even, of Admiral LeBeau. A pile of paperwork arrives next to you from Commander Meacham. And, we get the manila folders with like something written on them on the side, right? The bottom one, which we very briefly see like slides out from the pile and is then pushed back in. The label on it says Tesoro dos Todos.
That's the name. That's a name that I recognize, correct?
It's the name of a mysterious jump ship that has. It's the name of the thing that your husband was chasing out here. Yes. The Treasure of Fools.
Yes. Okay.
Uh,
That's what I was recalling.
it's
I was looking at
supposed
my
to be a
notes.
treasure trove, maybe of like lost tech.
Mm-hmm.
No one's
Yeah.
ever been able to track it down. It just shows up sometimes in legends.
And I think there's like a moment where it gets shuffled back under, and Anko just casually kind of like pulls it up and glances at some of the notes, and then puts it back. And thank you, Commander, or thank you, XO.
That's it. That's the end of this episode. Does anyone have any personal or show announcements?
Nothing right now. I'm
vibing.
slowly building a setup that I think I'll eventually stream some games. I don't know if I don't know what I'm going to play yet, but I've been kind of collecting a little bit of a organization of some like co-op games and things fun that folks might want to join in on. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm getting myself set up for it.
Nice. Oh, I've just been painting Battletech minis. I got nothing.
But I will be gone at the end of the month. My new job is taking me to Germany, so I'll be in Europe.
Welcome.
Yeah,
You're getting here right before Oktoberfest.
I know. It's okay. It's all right. Well, actually, no. I'm going to be there until the 5th of September.
Yeah.
So I think.
What part?
The
Copenhagen?
5th of September?
Yeah. So like at the.
Do you remember?
23rd,
I do.
Yeah. No. Wait. What?
No, it's the 20th.
There never was a cloudy day. Right?
No.
That's all I'm saying.
No. It's the 23rd to the 5th. I'll be there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Like new work, meeting a lot of coworkers. So I'm very excited about that.
Hell yeah.
All I have to announce is that I have a new D&D show that's going to be going up on Sunday nights in the future. I'm getting the cast together next week to have a talk, and then probably 2 to 3 weeks after that. So end of the month, I will be launching Generic Fantasy Adventure, a D&D show.
Catchy title.
I'm tired of putting huge amounts of effort into coming up with a name. And so I just Googled Generic Fantasy Adventure, and no one has ever used that before, either for a rule book or for an actual play. So guess what, bitch? I'm gonna get that shit.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it'll be worthless. Look, I do things for my shows. Like I combine Battletech and Pendragon together, right? I do shit for my shows. Generic Fantasy Adventure will be a stock D&D 5e with nothing special. There's no surprises. There's no changes. I'm not using any source books.
You don't have an artist following you around?
Artist following me around, live sketching. It's just gonna be a regular ass D&D show in a way I haven't done in like half a decade. So that's
honestly it. Yeah, you are so avant-garde and deciding, you trying different things that deserve it. Like it will feel different.
Okay, we'll see.
Hopefully it feels refreshing.
I have Stars Rising coming up, which is definitely a very modded version of 5e. That is a commentary on Twitch life, but that's it. Friends, Patreon gets this episode 1 week before everybody else. You know how it goes. Have a good time zone.